Welcome back, guys. Today I want to cover secrets to arm training and how hard should you be training your arms. So before I get stuck in the video, please make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Show me some love, support the channel, and I'll give more content back to you guys. So, what I've heard you, exercise number one that I truly believe should be a staple in your arsenal when it comes to tricep training. Any dip variation, I think, is one of the greatest exercises when it comes to building a huge tricep. If you can get legit strong and accurate with a regular dip or a dip machine, it will definitely lead to great return on investment when it comes to building a huge tricep. So if I was to narrow things down to 3 essential tricep exercises, it would be a dip, a variation of an overhead tricep extension, and a push down. When it comes to arm training, you have to make sure that you use appropriate load. So there's a balance that you have to have with accuracy and intensity. With arm training specifically, I am not a massive believer of handling big loads. Trying to train above and beyond your means using heavier loads than you can handle with good execution and range of motion often leads to elbow pain and tendonitis issue, even in forearms or even bicep tendonitis, which then will prevent you from actually being able to train your arms effectively and with all-out intensity. The goal within your exercise selection is being able to train your bicep or tricep with full range of motion and have the ability to progress your lift safely over time. So always pick exercises that you can connect with well and you can progress with over time. For me, it's always going to be a compound and an isolation exercise. And then I will always marry these into programming within an arm day, if you need one, or push days. Now, generally, if you are going to run an arm day, I would always start with isolation exercises and then follow on with actual compound movements. If you structure your tricep training within a push day, I would always start with a compound movement and then finish with an isolation exercise. So, exercise number one that I want to share with you today is the dip. Now, with the dip, you always want to put the most emphasis on the stretch. So try and get as deep as you can, pause in the stretch, and make sure you try and initiate the movement through your tricep, extending through your elbow, and again, hard lock out at the very top. And I actually like to contract the tricep as hard as I can at the very top, and then maintain that contraction on the way down into the stretch. You want to be accurate here, but with all-out power and intensity, especially going to the concentric portion of the rep. Now, exercise number two, that for me personally has been one of the all-time best tricep builders, and that's an overhead tricep extension. Now, I currently run 2 variations of this with my programming on my push days. One session, it's more of a higher incline overhead extension, and the second session is more of a lower incline cable skull crusher. For me, it's an exercise I can connect with well, and I can really get a ton of stretch and a ton of flexion for the elbow. I do believe it's an exercise that allows for the most growth because of the tension that's actually pulling your tricep in that deep stretch. So for me, this has been a king and a staple of my tricep exercises. Now, if you experience any elbow pain, you can use either a rope or various different handles that give you the freedom of motion through your wrist. Generally, you will experience pain down to inability of moving your wrist. So try an EZ bar if a straight bar gives you any tendon issues or any pain. EZ bar can be comfortable for some, however some just need freedom of motion at the wrist. This is where a gym pin with a D handle would be a great idea. Now, last but not least, a push down variation. Now, my preference is actually working unilaterally for push down variations, and it's always using a D handle. This way, you can get a tight grip on the D handle. The goal here is taking your tricep through full range of motion. So we want to get into the exercise, keep your body weight on the same side working leg as the arm you're working with, pull your upper arm into your lap, use your non-working hand as a bracing point, full stretch, keeping your arm pinned into your lap. So as you can see here, my elbow is fully flexed. I cannot stretch anymore. All the tension on the tricep, keeping the wrist straight, tight grip on the D handle. And the motion here is not just pressing down here. That's the biggest mistake often people make, is the press down forward in front of them. with the tricep work, you want full flexion of the elbow and full extension. So full flexions here, full extensions here. You want to try and mimic this with your compound work and the isolation exercises. So for tricep specifically, I like to use a D handle, elbow tucked, body weight on the same side leg as the arm I'm working with, and then press down and back. So this motion here, we get full flexion from the elbow, and then full extension pressing down and back. And again, maintain the contraction, maintain the tension coming back into the stretch, and then press down and back hard. Again, working unilaterally allows you to position yourself in a much more comfortable position, so that one, you have freedom of motion at your wrist, but two, you have the ability to adjust your setup and find a position that you can get the best connection with and the most range of motion. Most guys who are bigger or wider or just generally thicker, if they are using a fixed position or a fixed bar and often try and use a narrow grip, it prevents them from using full range of motion because, again, it's a fixed pattern. They've got inability to actually move their arms side to side and get into a comfy spot. So for me, I do prefer to actually work unilaterally for isolation exercises like this when it comes to tricep and bicep. Now guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today. This is part 1 of getting huge arms. Look out for part 2, and we will show you bicep training. I will also talk about how I would structure arm day and arm training in a separate video for you all. But that will be as a separate video after you see part 2 of getting huge arms when I cover bicep training. Today was tricep, showing you some of my favorite exercises, and again, variations of them can be seen on my channel. So get stuck in, make sure you watch the videos, and you can see tons of variations of different tricep exercises as well. And if you have any questions, comment below, and I'm more than happy to help. Guys, like, share, subscribe. Peace out for now. Take care.